Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to
I Have a Strange Story podcast. Look who's here.
So this,
Woo.
hello.
It's Lindsay.
It is. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Rebecca.
And that's Rebecca. Yeah. And welcome to the podcast where two sisters retell people's strange and paranormal stories and experiences. I think I'm a little rusty. I think it's been a few weeks.
It has.
And I also want to, if somebody has any tips for me to tell me how to get the ring out of my that light ring out of my glasses, I sure would appreciate it, because I don't know what to do. And I need it because I'm fucking old and I need it so that I look better on camera, but I don't need it in my glasses the whole time. That makes it look,
I mean, what can you do?
Nothing, apparently.
It's fine.
Not without it in there. Okay, anyways. So yeah, thanks for having me on the show today.
It's your show too. So
I know. Did you see? Look, I know you saw it earlier. Look at how witchy
She's
I am.
so witchy, you guys.
Just fucking,
Look at
I'm
that.
a witch.
She's like motherfucking Pisces witch, bitch.
Yeah. Careful. I'm a white girl and I'm a witch.
Two things that are scary right now.
That's true. Okay, well, this is episode 82. I've been absent for how many episodes? I guess
maybe
episodes?
two. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks. Been busy with work and not able to get away. So thank you, Rebecca, for keeping the show going and for your patience with me.
Of course. I mean, it's tough times right now, and thank you for saving people's lives. I know you say that you're not, but you are, and we're not going to talk about what you do, but you're saving people's lives.
Well, thank you. I appreciate everyone that works with me, because I feel like a lot of people are doing a lot to help people. But anyways, that's
neither here nor there.
No, we're here for a show. We're here for some good story time. Yeah. Do you have any announcements?
Yeah, I do, actually. We joined, and this might be something that you may or may not know. I think you know. I think I told you about this. We joined the Paranormality Network. So we are part of a... I'm going to see some of my messages come up. We are part of a network of scary podcasts, weird, creepy, paranormal podcast, just network. And so we're there to support each other, and probably some cool, exciting things coming. I'm not sure exactly what. If you are a podcast and you want to join the network, you can do that. And it's just basically you'll get your show kind of advertised on a website. It's a place where you can go to find cool, creepy podcasts. And we're
where everybody knows your name. Ba, ba, ba.
And they're always glad you came.
Oh, good. Ba, ba, ba.
Yeah, it's the cheers of paranormal podcasts, basically.
That's what I was thinking. That's what it felt like. Look, I'm wearing one of our shirts.
You said you're going to work out in that later.
Yeah, but when I get close, it just looks like I have on a ratty t-shirt. But I wore it hoping to show it off, and nobody can see it. And if this goes as it usually goes, then what's going to happen is whenever we have the video, it's just going to be very close up of just my head.
It is real close up of your head. It's weird. I don't know how that happens.
I don't know how it happens. I'm trying to sit back this time. I'm hoping that this helps. I don't know.
Well, I mean, either way, you always look good, so it's fine.
Get out of here now.
I've got my workout clothes underneath this dress.
I like that you have it under your dress. That's
I know.
funny.
I was just like, I was in the middle of it, and I'm going to go back to it. And so I didn't want to, I'm lazy. That's it. And it's fine. And this covers it up, and we're cool.
It works.
Anyways, I also just wanted to give a shout out to Serial Killer Sweets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check them out.
That's kept me going.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Do you heat your cookies up in the oven?
No, I don't.
You need to start. You put it at 350 and it's just a couple minutes, and oh my God.
I mean, we're probably going to do that. So basically we have like, Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Like, we have our high night. We get high every Friday, and we watch Rick and Morty, and we watch What We Do in the Shadows, and we eat those treats. And so, so using the oven is probably not a great idea, but in hindsight, we'll do it before next time. And yeah, check out serialkillersweets.com. They're open every Tuesday. They ship worldwide. They're from San Antonio. They are queer owned. They're family owned. They're very cool. We love them so much, and they're fucking delicious. So good.
They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably order some this week. I didn't last week because I had so many. Still, I had to like put them in the freezer, but I'll probably order more this week.
They're very good, delicious.
Yeah, delicious. You should look into it.
Yeah. Anywho.
All right.
Shall we get on with this show?
Well, I guess so. Okay. We're on episode 82. And I have a story about Wendigos, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah, I'm having to hold this due to technical difficulties as usual. I kind of wish that we had a montage of all the, like, if we could record all the difficulties we ever have and, like, how frustrated that we both get and how we're both done. Oh, man. And, like, I mean,
just today, it's like a few minutes ago. I know. The thing is like all the technical difficulties that we had just now was all on my end because I couldn't figure out how to get you back on the screen.
I couldn't figure out how to turn the light on. It's just I don't know.
We're terrible.
Anyways, it would be funny if we just had a collage of like all of it and what we say and how mad we both get.
Well, that's something I mean we can do in the future. So every single time,
it's a good idea. We just need to record it and keep it.
All right.
Okay. So, anyways, since I'm having to hold the microphone, it may be a little different. So sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So I'm going first because it's episode 82. So this guy's always been interested in the paranormal. Skinwalkers and Wendigos are something he's really interested in. Okay. So one night he's driving with his dad to pick up his car from his brother's, and they'd been out since about 5 a.m. So around 6 p.m., it's getting kind of dark, and they're driving along in his Toyota.
You want it? You got it.
You got it. Toyota. Okay, so they're driving along, been out since 5 a.m., 6 p.m., it's getting dark, and he's getting a little freaked out because they're about an hour away from the home to get his car, and he starts to smell something just fucking awful. He says it's like a mix of rotting flesh and hot rubbish.
Ew.
That's gross. So he had an idea what it could be based on the smell and based on his interests in the paranormal. And he considered that maybe he was just imagining things. That's what we all do. We all are just imagining it. It's not real. And that maybe it was going to be okay. But then he said that his father started to moan and started to complain about the smell. And so it was confirmed that his father could smell whatever that the hot rubbish and decaying flesh was. He says he knows that they were in trouble. So he started to scan the area outside of his window. So there were basically steep hills on either side of the road that they were driving on. And so he's looking out his window. He's looking at the steep hills. He looks up and he saw the head of a buck standing taller than it should. Oh, God, my fucking handwriting. Oh, and as he looked up and saw this buck, like a deer-like figure with antlers, as he looked up and saw, I mean, it was big. And then the smell was so awful, it started to make him gag. No. So the creature was basically keeping up with the car, and he made eye contact with it. And he said it's like time just stopped and stood still whenever they looked at each other and made eye contact. He said that it was basically beckoning him to join it, that he could feel it physically in his body, that it was like a pull, like some type of gravitational pull to join it outside of the Toyota, I guess running along beside it. So he said that his eyes also started to hurt, and that he started to basically reach for the door handle to open it and started to undo his seatbelt. And then he's just fucking terrified. He's terrified, but he wanted to see it closer. He wanted to be with it so bad. And that kind of reminds me of a woman in white and being like pulled to her, but whatever. So then he realized that if he got closer, that it was going to fucking kill him. That he wasn't going to be able to see anything because he was just going to be dead.
He'd be dead.
So then he said his dad started talking and he could barely hear him at first. It was like very quiet, very much in the distance. But then as his dad kept talking, he felt like he broke free from whatever the trance was that he had with this creature. And the car just kept speeding along and his dad was talking about lightning and fire. So then he finally got to his car and he messaged his best friend and she helped him calm down as he talked to her about what his experience was and what he saw and smelled. And he says that this happened to him about a year ago. And since then, he's moved about an hour away from where he was living. And he never really talked to his family about it because his family didn't really believe in the paranormal or these types of experiences. He says that sometimes he still smells that awful stench of the rotting corpse, basically, in the hot trash. And because he still smells it, he feels like he's being watched by whatever this creature was.
Man.
So based on what he's shared, I feel like he thinks that this was probably a Wendigo that was following him. What I think is interesting about it, if it is, I can understand why you would think it would be a Wendigo because the deer head and the antlers, and then the smell of a rotting corpse. That all goes along with it. But I haven't found anything that really spoke to it, like pulling you into a trance. Do you know anything about that?
So Wendigos, what we know about them is that they are creatures that represent cannibalism, right? Decay.
Yes.
And then they're also creatures of lure. So usually they will mimic something that that sounds familiar to you. So in this case, to me, this is still a luring creature because there is this beckon, this pull to go and join it.
Yeah.
And it was he didn't have any control over it, basically. Yeah.
I just hadn't read anything about them taking control away. I don't doubt it, but I just hadn't ever heard. That was a new piece of info. Everything else points to it being a Wendigo, in my opinion. So I agree with that. I was going to share just a little bit about Wendigos. Again, it's a demon that appears human, and it's not. It's usually not bestial. It usually has a deer head, but it's very humanistic. And then I read somewhere that there was another creature that was very similar to a Wendigo, but it had a wolf head. Oh. I forget what they said it was called, but it's not a Wendigo. Wendigos always have like deer-shaped heads. They don't have other shapes. Let me see. They're usually found up north, usually in Canada, but up north is where people usually see them. So I'm assuming that this story took place up north. Some people talk about seeing them in California too.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're usually associated with winter, famine, and the smell strong of decay. They usually involve murder, insatiable greed, cannibalism, cultural taboos. And then I talked a little bit more about this before, but there's even a diagnosis from it called Wendigo psychosis. It's a culture-bound syndrome with symptoms where people have like intense cravings for human flesh. And they eat human flesh. Right. Also, I think known as cannibalism. But usually like these type of circumstances, like somebody would get that diagnosis out of like an extreme situation. When people are put in these really extreme situations and they maybe result to cannibalism, I think that's really where Wendigos come into the picture when we talk about the folklore.
Right. I think that there is that, but then they're just going back to that psychosis, I guess, whatever. So, so to become a Wendigo, I think you have to eat a person. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So then there's other stories too, and I think this has to do with Native Americans or indigenous people who, for instance, I wish I could remember the specifics of it, but what I'll remember, I'll tell you. But it's basically about a man who lived alone with I think he separated from his tribe. They were traveling, or maybe it was just wintertime and they were all huddled up together somewhere. I can't remember the specifics, so please forgive me on that part. But it was like 16 people. They were all in this place together. And by the time they were able to reunite with the tribe, just he came back. And they were like, dude, where's your family? And he's like, the Wendigo told me to eat them. And so he fucking ate 16 people. Children, adults, who, all of the people. And in that sense, unless you were gone for like a year and you had food sources or whatever, like you can't go through 16 people that quickly unless they're all dead and dying. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's probably it's a lot of people to go through. It's a lot. So in that sense, his excuse or his I don't want to say excuse, but his reasoning was because it was a Wendigo that kind of took over his body. He was kind of possessed by this thing, and that's why. I think I can't remember if he ended up dying or if he got an exorcism. I can't, like I said, I don't remember the specifics, but there was that one case. It's not simply a case of, I need to eat you to survive. It's a case of...
Yeah. He came like greed.
It was just
I got so excited. Yeah. It's just greed.
Mm-hmm.
It's insatiable greed, and I don't know. It is interesting.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this before because I think before I was like Wendigos are like a metaphor for a life, and like because I want to get a tattoo of a Wendigo, but conceptually, it's a metaphor explaining a pattern of domination by which groups dominate or violently destroy and displace people. So Wendigos are basically an expression of dark human nature. True. Like really, that's what I think. And I think humans are just the most selfish, like destructive, animals. And so like Wendigos to me represent life and people and, everyone around us.
That dark side.
So I really like Wendigos. Yeah. And everybody has the dark side. Everyone does. And it's all just to different extremes. What I did read about their powers, because I was interested in, I'm so black and white, so I have a hard time, because like with you saying that the luring of him was basically what Wendigos do and him being taken over, I see that. But I was looking up their superpowers, and basically some of the superpowers they have is like extreme strength and drive. And so like they can just keep going and going and going for a hunt and a kill. Yeah. Right. And even though they appear as if they're starving, they still have the energy to keep going. And so basically they can chase you to your death.
Yes.
So that's interesting. But I was looking to see if they had anything else like, to take over your mind or whatever, which I guess they essentially do whenever they talk you into eating human flesh. I also was reading other ways that you can kill them.
Oh, cool.
And there's lots of different theories on how you can kill them. Some say it's just like a simple gunshot, but I also read that you have to cut their heart out and then you have to place it over a fire and like burn it to death. And then I also heard that only shamans can get rid of them. Yeah. So there's not one way. I can see the shaman because this folklore originates from Native Americans. So I can see that being the case. I also really like the idea of having to cut out the heart and burn it. I think that's fun.
maybe it has to be a shaman that has to cut out their heart and burn it.
Cut out the heart and burn it.
Like, do you roast it? Because you said hold it over a fire.
I felt like you'd put it on a spigot and like turn it and like
make a little toasted marshmallow out of it.
Make sure that it's completely toasted. Anyways, that's all I've got for this story.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Thank you for sharing. But also I do have an announcement. I've been watching all the Harry Potter movies.
Yes.
Yeah, I cried.
That's great.
I fucking cried.
So good.
I drank a bottle of wine last night and I watched Harry Potter.
Yeah. Which ones did you watch?
I don't know.
Like
all of them. I've been watching them from the beginning and going.
Okay.
And so spoiler alert, I watched the one. I don't want to say because what if people haven't seen it?
Everybody has seen it but you.
I know.
Go on.
But I just watched the one where somebody very important dies. I don't know.
Are you talking about Dumbledore? Did you cry?
Yeah.
Did you know that he was going to die?
I did. I didn't think he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought that, what is his name? Nape? Is that his name? Snape, yeah. I really thought that Snape was maybe in on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I know that he's bound to protect the bad side. And so I thought that maybe he was in on it, and because the whole time I had a weird feeling about Snape, but then I thought that maybe he really was an okay person. Yeah. And so whenever he showed up and told Harry Potter to be quiet, I was like, okay, they're all it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, what the fuck? It's not okay. Yeah. But I also read that it's I was told that the book is different in that scene.
Gosh, I haven't.
And that it's not Snape walking up and telling him to be quiet, that he actually had his invisible cloak on, and then Harry did. And then he was stunned and couldn't move and couldn't do anything. And that Dumbledore did that on purpose for him to watch.
It's been a while since I've read the books. That's actually my favorite book. It's Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Half-Blood Prince, yeah.
I know I'm going to say this. Everybody says it. The book is fucking fantastic. It's this long, and I know you're never going to read it, but maybe you can listen to it. It's really good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This is the other thing I have to say, because this is what happens in all movies and all series. And it's what I go on and on about. Star Wars, R2-D2 doesn't get enough credit. The droids don't get enough credit, ever.
Yeah.
Right? It kind of pisses me off, because they are good droids that do a lot, and they save a ton of people. So there's that, and that pisses me off. So the same thing with Lord of the Rings. Nobody cares about Sam. Sam fucking carried Frodo the whole goddamn way. Okay, number 3. Harry Potter is not that great. He's not.
He's not that great of a wizard.
Everybody just helps him. Yeah, everybody just fucking helps him along the way. There's nothing special about him. He doesn't have special powers. He's not a great... I
think the reason
he's
why
not great at magic.
He is great in the sense of... the Harry Potter verse world is because he's the only person to survive a unforgivable curse. So, and he backfired
because his mom has protected him,
and he backfired that curse onto Voldemort. I get it, Lindsay, but I think that's the point of it too. I just agreed with you. I just agree with you. I think that's the point of it too, is to say you can't carry this burden on your own. That you have to have people help you, and friendship is important, and So I agree with you. I don't think Harry Potter is that great of a wizard. Fucking Hermione,
he's not. She's good.
Hermione. It's not Hermione. Apparently, everybody's pronouncing it incorrectly, but it's Hermione.
Hermione. That's what I say.
That's what everybody says, but it's not. But yeah, and the same thing about Dobby too. He is. So in the movie. Who's that character that everybody hates in Star Wars? The one that talks shitty and...
fuck. Why can't I think of his name? I've been saying his name all week because I've also been watching the Clone Wars, the cartoon, which is actually really fucking good. Why the fuck can't I think of his name? God damn it. I can't think on the spot.
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, so in my opinion, for seriously, Dobby, in my opinion, was portrayed much like Jar Jar Binks. In the movies. In the books, he's a very important character. He has vital roles. He's very supportive. He's very magical. And they just make him kind of seem in my opinion, kind of like this shitty little weirdo side character. But he's really a pretty amazing character in the books. Anyways, way off topic, but I'm glad you brought it up.
Okay. Yeah. I just thought you'd want to know. I thought you'd be proud that I'd been... Yeah. No, it's good. And I don't know why I didn't get into it sooner. I think it's because I was a little asshole about it. But it's good.
Yeah.
And actually, the end of the movie, that's kind of what Harry alludes to, is that you can't get through anything without love and without friends. And, it's true.
Yeah.
I just hate how everyone is like, oh, the Harry Potter, you're Harry Potter, like, oh, Harry's here, like, just like, dude, go fuck yourself. Like,
yeah, but he gets
can't
backlash from that too. Like, people are like, you're not who we thought you are. You're just causing trouble, and we don't believe you anymore. In a way, because
bless his heart.
he's signaling like, no, shit's gonna happen, and people are like, you're just looking for attention. Now,
Yeah.
Anyway. I'm glad that you saw it. I'm glad that you like it. Hufflepuff Pride.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I got.
All right, cool. Thanks. So I have a story, and this is a sweet, sad story.
Aw, come on. I've already cried enough.
I know. Well,
Cried enough watching all the Harry
I
Potters.
don't think you're going to cry on this. I think that you're going to like this, hopefully.
Okay,
so this is a story about Jen and her wonderful nanny, who they were basically peas in a pod, just best friends. They had a very special relationship. And on October 31st, one day before Nanny's birthday, Nanny passed away. Very sad. So she passed away before Jen got to say goodbye, and Jen was fucking devastated, as she should be. And she'd always hoped that her nanny would come back and visit her kind of in a spiritual way. So a couple months went by, nothing happened, and before you know it, it's Christmas. So her father and his new wife had moved in with Nanny before she passed away to help her. So he's living in her house now, and that's where they decide to have Christmas together. So they're unwrapping gifts. They're having as good a time, I imagine, as they possibly can without their nanny being there, who's a beloved member of the family. And after all the gifts were open, her father presented her with one final gift, and he said, your nanny made this for you before she passed away. She opened it up, and it was this beautiful painting. She didn't say what the painting was. I should have asked. I forgot about it until just this moment. So she was so happy with the gift. She was looking at it. She held it close to her. She hugged it. And then she put it on the table next to her just to kind of admire it. And she put it on this little table next to the couch. And on this table and all over the house, there's these cute little touch lamps. You can just imagine this like in an old person's home.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, you touch them and they go through a series of like low, medium, high light, and then they turn off. And her nanny fucking loved these lamps. She had them all over the house. They were hand painted. They were very special to her. And so she put this little picture on that table next to the lamp. And then all of a sudden her touch lamp went from low, medium, high for 3 cycles, and then the bulb blew out. And her dad was like, well, that's weird. And he replaced the bulb. They kind of thought nothing of it. They were like, these are kind of old and they're faulty. They probably, it's fine. And I think even she was like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. I'm going to get over it. But then she also noticed that there was a ornament on the Christmas tree that started kind of moving back and forth on its own. This ornament was a penguin ornament, which was special because, like I said, Nanny and Jen had a very close and special relationship. And before Nanny passed, Jen had got her a little stuffed penguin. And she says, I want you to have this to think of me, so that you don't get lonely whenever I'm not here. And her nanny fucking loved it. Like, she took it everywhere. She was constantly like holding it and hugging it. And she just loved it so much. And Jen got one that matched. So it was kind of like a BFF necklace,
It's cute.
Yeah. And before, so whenever her grandmother died, they had an open casket funeral, and Jen went up and she had her grandmother touch her little penguin before they buried her. So that was kind of a significant thing, is to see this little ornament swing back and forth. And she had thought about it and thought maybe that was a message from her grandmother. So she now carries a necklace that was her grandmother with her, and she keeps it in her pocket or keeps it on her at all times so that she can feel closer. She says now she openly talks to her grandmother. She tells her how much she loves her, how much she misses her, how much she wishes that she was there with her. And she says that whenever this happens, she'll be driving under a streetlight and a light will go out. She'll say out loud, "I love you," and a streetlight will just fucking go out.
Sweet.
It is sweet, right? So recently, she decided to contact a medium so that she could tell her grandmother just how much she loved her and missed her. She just also wanted to convey, that she's sorry that she wasn't there to say goodbye. She wished that she had been at her wedding. And she also wanted to apologize for not finding a medium faster. Jen. So she finds somebody to talk to. She says that whenever she starts talking to this woman and telling her story, a light above the medium fucking goes out. And the medium said, "There's a woman here, and she says, you know the significance of this light going out?" And she is laughing and smiling. So this is just the very last part of her story. Just to kind of solidify this medium mentions very specific things about her family and memories of her as a child. So she did get to communicate with her grandmother again, although just in my opinion, I think that she's able to communicate with her grandmother at any time that she wants. I think her grandmother is listening to her. I think her grandmother knows how much you love her, basically. And in just my opinion, this is what I think the lamp cycle's going through. I think that was her grandmother telling her, "I love you," going through it 3 times. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's such a sweet story. Mm-hmm. I think that everybody... that'd be so nice for everybody just to be able to have that. First of all, to fucking have a relationship with your grandmother like we never had a relationship. Yeah.
I don't understand any of that.
Yeah. So I think that that's a very special relationship, but also just to be able to communicate with your loved one like that too is very special. Just some research on that. And I didn't do a whole lot. I did this like weeks ago and just kind of forgot about it. Sorry. So ghosts use a lot of energy to manifest. So that is energy taken from electronic devices, from people, anywhere that you have energy. That's how they're going to be able to draw from it and communicate with you in any way that they can. I think that in this type of situation, she was able to draw energy from the lamp to give her a message, and then it blew out because it took so much energy to get that across. I think that Jen feels like she's attracting spirits and believes that her Nady is watching over her. I think that is very true. Like I said earlier, I think that your grandmother is with you all the time. Let's see. And I think that's all I got. I mentioned all the research I done. I got that from investigationnj.com. If anybody wants to check that out, that's my source. Gotta cite my source. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I think that after doing this show for a while and doing so much research on ghosts, my opinion of them has changed, and I don't find them theoretically. I'm like, well, it's not scary. It's really just somebody
trying to communicate,
needing help or visiting or communicating. Yeah. And that it's really not anything. Typically it's nothing like devious or, you know what I mean? It's not related to demons or anything bad. Right. I typically think of them as stories like this, with the grandmother visiting and saying hi by turning the lights on and off. Like
it's very sweet.
It's cute. It's cute. Yeah.
I'm glad that you said that, and that, I mean, anybody can believe whatever they want. Basically, we don't have any really hard evidence about this. But we have to think of, in my opinion, we have to think of things that may seem scary or things that we don't understand on our end as a way of communicating. And so if I mean, if you hear things or if you see things, it's just a form of manifestation and a form of communication. It doesn't necessarily mean something that's out to hurt you. Not to say that there's not a whole lot of things out there that do want to try to hurt you, but also I think it's just trying to get a point across. And that point even may be, I don't want to talk to you. You go into a place, you get an EMF that's like, get out. And it's not because they want necessarily to hurt you, but it's because it's like, this is my place. Get the fuck out of my home. I did not invite you in here. I did not ask for your presence, so please leave. We do the same fucking thing to ghosts. If you think about it.
We ask them to leave. Yeah, and if you think about being in a place where you hate being around a person, and you have to be around them all the time, it's miserable. It's awful. And you want them to leave. Or you leave.
So somebody's just got to go.
It's not gonna work. We're all adults here. Let's talk it out.
Both,
someone's gonna go.
If you have two beings, alive or not, that come together and live together, and y'all don't fucking like each other, shit's gonna happen. And that's it. One of y'all has to leave, just like you said. So try to make the best of it, or be nice. Just be kind.
That's always the moral of the story. Yes, just be kind.
Well, that's all I got, unless you have anything else you want to share.
I don't. I'll be finishing up Harry Potter.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
I'll let you know. Yeah, I'm at the the Blood Prince thing.
I can't believe that you've made it this far and didn't know that Dumbledore was going to die.
I didn't know.
Oh, dude.
I had no idea.
I remember I saw that movie so I read all the books. I saw all the movies. And of course, the books come out before the movies. And whenever I went to go see The Half-Blood Prince with my husband, like, I knew the point was coming. And I was getting so anxious, and I was like, I couldn't watch it, and I started crying. And John's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, he's going to die. Like, I don't think that John knew that Dumbledore was going to die. And he's not as invested in it as I am. He likes it, but he's, I made him figure out what house he was in.
All these years, I had no idea. I had no idea because I wouldn't talk about it with anybody, and I was like, man, whatever. Yeah. Like, it really was a shock to me. I had no idea.
I love that. I am so glad you weren't spoiled by it.
I wasn't. I had no clue.
Lindsay, it's just so amazing because you went. I don't know how long the Half-Blood Prince been around, but you went this fucking long without hearing one goddamn spoiler about that. Especially in a movie. Like, I could have told you.
I know.
It's so weird. Congratulations.
It's funny.
You made it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Here's another spoiler. Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. Just in case nobody knew that.
Get out of here. No way.
So the Clone Wars, have you watched them? The cartoon? Does John? All right, then I'll just talk to you.
I mean, I could watch it, I guess.
It's really good.
Do I have to watch all the movies beforehand? I'm sorry. I'm just not as... Lindsay, you talk about Harry Potter being the one, but what the fuck is every one person in Prince Skywalker, what's his name? Luke Skywalker is the one. He's the Jedi that the whole world depends on.
No, there's actually a lot to that, Rebecca.
Oh, really? That this isn't
sense.
Just Jesus?
Yes.
This isn't Jesus?
Makes sense. It's because... Okay. No. It's because he has a part of the dark side in him, too. And whenever they say that he's the one that's going to change everything, it's because he fucking is. It's because he went from being Jedi to being on the dark side, the fucking, Lord of the
Luke
dark side.
Skywalker?
And it... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Anakin. Yeah. So, but Luke is his son. He's a descendant of that. And so he has that same struggle within himself.
He doesn't have any struggle with darkness.
Okay. Well, listen, I think this has been good. but I think we're going to have to wrap this up.
I'm sorry if I've upset you.
And but then he also struggles with that being his father, and then he has to kill his father and all that.
Okay.
Shit.
I see what you mean. I didn't give it a chance.
Yeah. Well, his father cuts his arm off and all that. That's true.
And he kisses his sister.
So it's a curtain struggle.
He
Yep.
did. That's fine.
Yeah. There's more to it, but there really, theoretically, there really is something behind that. The Skywalker family does change the outcome of everything, because if Anakin never went to the dark side, then a lot of stuff wouldn't have happened.
Okay. I got
And
you.
there's-
I got you now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see what you mean.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So there is more behind that, but anyways, it's okay. We don't have to talk about it today.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, I guess. Oh, if you would like for us to read your story, send us a story and we'll read it. You can send it to us at I have a strange story podcast at gmail.com, or you can send it to us on Instagram or Facebook, or I think there's a Twitter account out there.
I never get on it.
But we don't do anything with it. We also have a Snapchat account that we don't do anything with. So, you could just send us that stuff that way.
Any way that you can get it.
Yep.
You could mail it, but I don't think we're checking our mail right now.
Nope.
We're not checking our mail. And you can subscribe, rate, and review us. If you feel like you want to give us a review, please give us a nice review. And if you do that, take a snapshot of it, send it to our email address with your physical mailing address, and we will mail you some stickers. And I think that's it. It's been a while since I've done an outro too, so
I know. I forgot. Yep. I guess until next time.
bye.
Bye.
I'm going to stop this.
What do we stop
I guess,
first?
I mean, we can do it at the same time. I don't think it matters. Ready?
Okay.
One.
Set.
Okay.
Go.